Yeah, podcasting is huge. Also, shoot, I'm having a stoner moment. I was gonna say something.
Wait, how much weed do
Uh
you smoke a day? Like, what's the weed intake? Like, what did you? I mean, that's the other thing I was curious too. Of like, what? I mean, Bravo and Blaze. Like, are you? And see, I have always with weed, I have this weird relationship with it where I can, if I do it, like I'm out. Like I'm not out like I pass out, but I'm out like I can't work. I can't
yeah,
do things on weed. Like
yeah,
my buddy can like wake and bake and he
yeah.
is so productive. He's like, I'm like, but
That's
me, I do it. I'm just like an idiot. And then I try to jam as much food in and I get nervous about losing that control. I mean, I still
yeah,
do. I mean, I'll still smoke some weed here and there
yeah.
when I know I can just watch TV, but I know I couldn't operate a podcast on weed, you know?
Oh, the only issue I have really is like sometimes I forget what I'm saying, like I just did before. But really, I consider it like microdosing, which is really just not getting like lit off your ass and like being able to still function. If I get too stoned, sometimes I'm like, okay, that was not productive, and like I don't even really try. I don't try to get like that, and I don't. It's kind of hard for me to get to that point because I have a tolerance and I'm such a regular
Yeah,
consumer.
I took an like I can do like, and this is probably nothing, like I can take like a five, what is it, five
Five
milligram edible,
milligram.
and it's like that's a nice thing for me.
Yeah.
It's nice. And then somebody like, here, take this, and I thought it was a 5 milligram edible, and then about an hour in, I was like, wait a sec, I am out of my gourd. And then I was like, what is that? What? And she goes, oh, 10 milligrams. I was like, I knew it. Like I knew, like I can't,
Yeah.
I assume you have to work up to these things, you know, and
Yeah.
you get a tolerance like anything, but it is
Yeah.
funny.
I recommend people to start with like a tincture because you can do like eye
Like Shannon
drops.
Bedore.
Yeah, a tincture.
Or was that Kelly Dodd? Who is one of
I
those
think it
guys?
was Shannon, yeah. And then Heather Dubrow she brought microdosing onto Housewives. That was huge for the cannabis community.
That, I mean, wasn't it huge for, I mean, didn't we see Eva on Girls Trip season 2 not only
Yep.
smoke
That
cigarettes but
was
smoke a
huge.
joint on camera? That I was like, this feels historic. I don't
It is
know if it.
historic. That was the first time they've ever had a dispensary on any kind of Housewives. It's weird that because it was like on Peacock and it hasn't been on Bravo yet, but I'm excited for it to go on Bravo because that is huge for the cannabis community. There are laws right now because it's federally illegal where certain networks like they're not allowed to promote it.
Oh,
It's like illegal to promote it, but there is a bill that's working to be passed so that once they flip that switch, all these cannabis companies are going to be pouring so much money into advertising. It's going to be insane. And like right now, the workaround is like people like me who have an audience who like there's, I can just talk about it or,
yeah.
there's certain things like I don't smoke in like a well, I do smoke in post sometimes, but like certain words you can't use like on social media. So there's like certain things that I've learned over the years because I mean, even though Bravo and Blaze started, like a little over a year ago, I've had other accounts, but this was like the first time I really went all in with Bravo and Blaze. So it's really only been like a year that I've hit the ground and really have been like, okay,
That's amazing.
I'm doing this. And
Wait, so
then,
is the goal to see like eventually like I need to see Kathy Hilton with a 3 foot graphite bong? Is
oh my
that what
gosh,
we're working towards? Like, do
I
we
was
want to see
trying
a
to
bong
manifest
on these shows?
I was trying to manifest Kathy like slipping the ladies edibles last season, but that didn't happen.
Well, I want to go
Um,
even further. Like, let's do mushrooms on one of these trips. Let's do like
yes.
put it into the like. I mean, let's get a full trip experience going, or like we've already potentially seen cocaine and we just don't know about it. Like, I feel like we've seen a lot of that. But why don't we get into like
Well, the Toms did. They did shrooms when they were
Yes, very.
brainstorming.
And by the way, that I did an interview with Sandoval where I went to his like, that's all very real. Sandoval is
Oh,
a
I'm
and
sure.
I have seen Tom Sandoval's band now a bunch of times, which
I
is
want to go.
hysterical. And I think well they did a show at the Canyon Club and it was in January of this year and I was doing like dry January and this is like my mind is like works like an idiot. And I was like, you know what? I have some mushrooms and I have these like little microdose mushrooms that my friend Mediza like makes and gave to me. And I was like, I'll take a couple of those instead of drinking, you know, like I'll do that
Yeah.
and that'll be good. And I always like, don't, I always forget that mushrooms literally, they call it a trip for a reason. It's not like, so I was like microdosing and there were these little pebbles, but I didn't realize that they were really strong until
Yeah.
after. And
That's
so all
probably
of a
the
sudden
cat.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm at a Tom Sandoval show and I'm like standing right behind Sheena and Brock. And I was like having this moment of like, am I I'm watching TV, but I'm in the TV and I'm in the TV. And then Tom Sandoval, if I look up, is
Oh my
performing. And I'm just like, this is,
gosh.
and then I remember Ariana, who I know, and I go, and she says, hey, and she was talking to me. And I was like, da, 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 da. And then I realized she was like, okay, cool. And then I realized I don't even think I made sense in that conversation. And so I texted her really quick and my phone's like moving because I'm true. And I go, I'm on mushrooms. I'm sorry for conversation. I don't know what I said. And she was like, oh no, it's all, and like, and then but basically what I'm saying is do not ever do mushrooms at a Tom Sandoval show. It is
Oh my
not the
gosh.
dead. It is not any of that. It is
That's
very scary if you're on mushrooms. But other than
really
that, if you have a couple drinks, it's one of the best shows you'll ever see. But if you're on mushrooms, it's potentially a nightmare. Like it was just truly a
I
nightmarish experience.
I am loving Tom living out his dream. Like he's been talking about this since the beginning. Like I commented on one of his posts. I just love that he's doing what he always wanted to do. And I said, I wish you started doing this 10 years ago. Like literally,
Well, he
you
didn't have
did
like
this. He's so happy.
he's leveraging the power that he, I mean, this is like, and Sandoval especially gets shit on a lot. And, you know, Sandoval will admit he has ADD. He doesn't like, you know, when I was talking to him in the, you know, he also knows he says things that are idiotic because he's like, I want everything to be so good. And I want
I
it to be
know.
this and this. And, you know, I want everybody to like, you know, cause he paid for the fireworks at DJ James Kennedy and at Richella. He paid for those with his own money. Cause
I
in his
can't.
head, he was like, I can just see it on the screen and the audience,
Yeah.
they'll be so excited. Like, he was really so passionate
The
about that moment.
visionary.
Yes,
Yeah.
he wants everything to look so cool, and he's
Yeah.
so excited to have this opportunity. And like sometimes it comes off this certain way, and I think that's also a disadvantage of then getting to know somebody is that you can't like shit on them. But he gets shit on a lot unfairly. I think when I'm like,
I do
I
too.
love those people that are
I
so
love him.
passionate that
Yeah.
like are so like he just like
Wants it to
that
be
inspires
amazing.
me because I
Yeah.
get so down and negative sometimes that I'm like, I need people like that in my life.
Yeah.
I aspire to be somebody
Yeah.
that just wants to try it
I
and do the
know.
best. And even if it's ridiculous, let's
Yeah.
try it. And
Yes. That's,
so
I
I
love
really
that.
love that kind of stuff, you
Yeah.
know?
I do too. That's why, like, I feel bad people bust on him all the time. And I'm like, I feel like he's just trying his best. And like, people don't get that because they're just like, whoa, it's like too much for them. But it goes along with his brand, the two extra or the extras or whatever. Like, he is
Yeah. It's
extra.
the most extras is his band. And that's, I mean, I
I
think,
love
you know,
it.
lean into what you
Yes.
are, lean into who you are, and the people that
Yes.
will follow. But
Yes.
I do notice, and I do this, I make fun of people every day, all day, but it is, you see how it will be. And I get made fun of now sometimes too. And that's interesting because you realize you're like, man, we're all just trying to get through and all that stuff. And what Lala's going to make fun of Sandoval. And it's like, Lala, what are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing? What are you bringing to the table? What are you going to show us this season? What are you going to, like, hopefully you reveal some stuff. Hopefully you do, you know, but like Tom at least is like bringing things actively to the table. And
Yeah.
even if he's looking like a bad guy, he's still, you know, and he's
I
so
don't think he's a
appreciative of
bad
this.
guy.
No, but
Yeah. I don't think
he's
he's a
just
bad
so
guy.
appreciative. Like the
Yeah.
Vanderpump Rules cast, I will say, like they are just so damn appreciative to still be here. You know, like if you ever run into Schwartz or Sandoval or Ariana or Sheena, they will always take a picture with you. They will always do it with a
Oh.
smile. They will always, you know, and that's
Ariana
really
follows me, and I wear
Ariana's
that badge of
amazing. And
honor.
Ariana talking about mental health struggles is so important and all of
Yes.
that. But I mean, I'm so curious what season 10. I mean, I went to Schwartz and Sandy's for the
You
opening
did?
and it was really cool. I mean, I'm really interested to see how that all plays out within the context of the show. And I was seeing Schwartz and Katie having an argument and DJ James Kennedy had his new
Wait,
girlfriend
were
there
you
and
the one who
Raquel was
leaked
there.
the video of them fighting?
No, no, no. I was with my roommate Megan and then Kiki Talk of Shame and her friend. But I did not. Well, they kept going to like I had to go do a podcast. My roommate was out till like 4 a.m. with them, like partying, and I was like, I can't do that. I gotta. It's like a school night,
Yeah.
and but it was the look of it is super cool. It's small, so I'm
Yeah.
curious how they're going to like do the demand for that place and stuff. But I'm somebody like I just love Vanderpump Rules, and I'll go down
Yeah.
with the ship. I'll watch every season of that until it like
Me too.
I'm not a fair weather fan. Like I will go down with any of these, any Housewives franchise, any of that. I'll watch until it's over. You know?